Now, the CBS 21 Political Insiders with Rob Hanrahan.
All right, they're here with us now. Tony May, our Democratic strategist, Charlie Gerow, Republican strategist. And Charlie, I want to start with you because you're a lawyer as well as a Republican strategist, all right? Donald Trump Jr. thought he was doing himself a favor by releasing this email chain today explaining how this meeting was set up with the Russian lawyer who denies that she had any connections to Russia on NBC News. But if you look at the wording of it, do you think that was the right thing for him to do?
Well, I'm a lawyer. I don't play one on television, Rob.
Okay, I understand that.
And so I'll put on my Republican strategist hat and say this. There are a couple of problems with what happened here. First of all, he never should have been in that room, period. It's almost 101 that when you're approached by a foreign government, particularly one that's hostile to the United States, that you just don't go in the midst of a political campaign. But two, it's always the quote-unquote cover-up. I'm not saying this is a cover-up. It's always what comes later. And what Donald Trump Jr. has done here, unfortunately, is allowed an almost Chinese water torture of drip, 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 drip to come out, and statement after statement to come out, some of which look, at least right now, like they may be incriminating to him.
Because there is mention of the Russian government.
And that's where the problem here really lies. They came out originally and said, oh, this was about adoption. Clearly wasn't. Now there's a lot of questions. I don't think it was illegal. It may be. We don't know yet. We've got to have more facts on the table. It certainly isn't treasonous. I mean, there are two things, unfortunately, anymore that you can count on, Rob. One, there's going to be a story about Russia, and two, the Democrats are going to overreact.
You feel the Democrats are overreacting, Tony?
They're certainly not overreacting to the Russian collusion. And day by day, the Trump people are outlining how it was a collusive relationship with the Russians. What Donald Trump Jr. said is he wanted to have a relationship where they would give information that would hurt the Hillary Clinton campaign. I mean, that's a damning statement. It may not be illegal, but it gives credence to the whole problem that the Russians meddled in the election, and Donald Trump today may be unable to extricate himself from that relationship.
So where is this whole thing going?
I'll tell you, Rob, I cringe with all this. I really do. And I am a Republican, pretty clearly there. But I go back to the 2000 election. I'm a history guy.
Yeah.
And I remember that a briefing book of George W. Bush's showed up at the Al Gore headquarters. And you know what they did? They called the FBI. They didn't even look at it. And that was from a domestic source, not from a foreign source. And I think we've got to get back to that kind of honor in our political campaigns. We're clearly not there on either side, unfortunately.
Okay, you mentioned the drip, drip, drip. That a lot of people have said that's taken away from the policies, the laws, the things that the Senate and the House are looking at right now. Health care, the Senate is now going to stay. They're going to push their recess back. So, Tony, do you see this as any step forward to the Democrats at least taking making an effort to...
It underscores what should have been done 6 months, 9 months ago, or it could be 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and that is start the process of airing these bills out in public and finding out where people stand. The Republicans find themselves now for a third time putting a secret bill out there in sunlight and finding out that their own members don't support it sufficiently to get a positive vote.
Charlie,
reminiscent of the vote on Obamacare some years ago, where we had to pass it before we could understand what was in it, before you could read it.
But that was 9 months, not just three months.
They took a year and a half to play those games.
Democrats are slower.
All sorts of, collusionist deals then. But in all seriousness, there's got to be a replacement to Obamacare. It is falling under its own weight. Something has to be done.
All right. Thank you both. Appreciate it. Our Political Insiders every Tuesday right here on CBS 21 News at 5:30. And make sure to join us for CBS 21's Face the State every Sunday morning at 8:30.